Day 13 Reading The Maiden of the River Part 2. A story about Ganga also speaks about Nandini, who wish-fulfilling cow and the daughter of sacred Kamdhenu, who was given to the great Rishi Vasishtha ashram to help him perform his prayers and to take care of his guests. One day, 8 Vasus or minor gods experienced Nandini's hospitality at Vasishtha ashrams and came back and told their wives about her. The wives immediately wanted to possess the holy cow and insisted that their husband catch Nandini and bring her to them. Prabhas, one of the 8 Vasu, took the lead. He stole the cow and then directed the other cows out of the ashram. Vasishtha became furious when he learnt of the robbery and cursed the 8 Vasus. You will all take birth as mortal on earth as the punishment for your actions, he thundered. The Vasus begged Vasishtha for forgiveness until they agreed to rescue the potency of his curse. May you all be born out of the holy river Ganga and be immersed in her immediately after birth. Then your sin will be cleansed. But Prabhas, who stole Nandini, will remain on earth for a much longer time. This is why Ganga, who was married to a king named Shantanu in her human form and became the queen of Hastinapur, immersed her first 7 children in water, freeing them from their human form and their lives as mortal. The last one, however, stayed on earth for a long period of time as Bhishma, the respected warrior in the Mahabharata. Shantanu's story, however, goes back to time of yore. In that time lived a frog in a forest. This frog heard about the river Ganga and how people yearned to go on a pilgrimage to her to take a dip in her waters. So the frog also decided to travel the river. Sadly, he got caught in a stampede during his journey and was cursed to death under a man's foot. In his next birth, the frog took the form of a man and who was employed by Indra, the king of the gods. Indra was very appreciative of his work and gave the man a cart full of gold. Now that he had more than enough money to make the trip, the man again started his journey to the river Ganga. However, his bullocks died on the river and he was at the loss for how to continue further. He requested Surya, the sun god, for help. Lord, if you help me now, I will give you half of this gold. Surya assisted him and the man managed to make his way to the Ganga. Once he was there, he took a dip in the waters and donated all the gold he had by immersing it into the river. A short time later, when Surya asked him for his share, the man was unable to pay. Surya, now angered, turned the man into a jackal as punishment. With no place to go, the jackal lived near the river and had a dip in the waters every day. Time passed until one day Ganga showed up in the form of a beautiful maiden. Fascinated, the jackal followed her. Ganga, afraid of the animal, threw a stone at the jackal, which hit him and blinded him in one eye. Still, the jackal continued to follow her. She ran to a sage nearby and hid behind him, telling him about the stalking jackal. Upset, the sage ensured that his disciples killed the animal, burnt him, and immersed his ashes in the water. A few years later, the same ashes transport the seeds of a sal tree to the bank of the river. Eventually, a huge tree grew there. The sage, through his yogic power, realized that the jackal's ashes were responsible and were a part of the tree. He immediately instructed his disciples to cut the tree down. So they felled the tree until only the dry trunk remained. The sage then ordered his student to burn the trunk. Out of this fire emerged a handsome young priest, whom the sage named Shantanu. The sage said, "Young man, for years you have tried to meet and be a companion to Ganga in different forms. I bless you with all my heart. You will marry her, even if it is for a short period." Much later, Shantanu met Ganga again, now in her human form, and become enchanted by her beauty. She agreed to marry him on the condition that he must never question her actions. Deeply in love with her, Shantanu accepted this condition. In time, she gave birth to 7 children, whom she immersed in water after they were born. On the birth of the 8th child, Shantanu questioned her, fearing the fate of the newborn. This questioning broke the condition upon which Ganga had agreed to marry Shantanu. She abandoned him but left the 8th child with him. This child was none other than the glorious Bhishma. That was now Vashishth's prophecy came true. Usually, Ganga is represented in temples by a stone statue of a woman standing atop a crocodile and holding 2 pots of water. She is related to the Trinity very close, since she was born from Brahma's Kamandalu, washed over Vishnu's feet, and emerged from Shiva's hair. The point where other rivers meet the Ganga is termed Prayag. For instance, you will find Rudra Prayag, Karna Prayag, and Dev Prayag in Uttarakhand. Ganga also merged with the river Yamuna in Allahabad, and this point of confluence is known as Prayagraj. Thank you.